Hi, I'm Ellen Jaffe Jones, the author of Eat Vegan on $4 a Day, The Veg Coach, and the Broccoli Rep, because who else is? In today's edition of Vegan News You Can Use, oppressive heat and a worsening drought in the U.S. Midwest pushed grain prices near or past records as crops wilted, cities baked, and concerns grew about food and fuel price inflation in the world's top food exporter. Soybean prices at the Chicago Board of Trade set a record high and corn closed near a record as millions of acres of crops seared in the triple-digit heat. Cornfields have been plowed up in many locations for lack of rain. Now, soybeans, which develop later than corn, are in the bullseye. U.S. Agriculture Secretary Tom Vilsack told reporters after briefing President Barack Obama, quote, "If I had a rain prayer or a rain dance I could do, I would do it," unquote. Vilsack said the drought was getting worse. Part of the problem, he says, is that we're facing weather conditions that were so good at the beginning of the season that farmers got in the field early, and as a result, this drought comes at a very difficult and painful time in their ability to have their crops have good yield, Vilsack said. He said the rising grain prices would mean meat and poultry prices would be higher this year and next, although inflation may be delayed as farmers start culling their herds due to high feed prices and meat supplies stay adequate. The problem is really that we're just eating too much meat. Most of our corn is exported to China to feed their growing meat addiction. We should have adopted their way of eating instead of them mimicking us. Breaking news, Martians may be vegan. Space food isn't limited to Tang and dehydrated ice cream anymore. NASA scientists are devising a new menu for a mission to Mars sometime in the 2030s, if we survive that long. The menu must sustain a group of 6 to 8 astronauts, keep them healthy and happy, and also offer a broad array of food, reports the Globe and Mail. And with a 6-month journey to and from the Red Planet, as well as an 18-month stint for work at the destination, scientists have a lot of recipe testing to do. Mars is different just because it's so far away, says Maya Cooper, senior research scientist with Lockheed Martin, who is heading the efforts to build the menu. She could call me. We don't have the option to send a vehicle every 6 months and send more food as we do for the International Space Station. And finally, a physicians group has petitioned the federal government to remove milk as a required food from the school lunch program. The nonprofit Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine calls milk, quote, an ineffective placebo, and says a large body of research shows that consuming milk does not improve bone health and does not prevent bone fractures and injuries in children and adults. Milk is also the #1 source of saturated fat in children's diet. Milk doesn't make children grow taller and stronger, but it can make them heavier, says PCRM Nutrition Education Director Susan Levin, who is also a registered dietitian. We are asking Congress and the USDA to put children's interests above the interests of the dairy industry. Focusing on milk as the single most important source of calcium in children's diets detracts schools and parents from foods that can actually build bones, like beans and leafy greens. The petition filed in on July 19th asked the USDA to issue a report to Congress recommending an amendment to the National School Lunch Act. The amendment would exclude dairy milk as a required component of school lunches. Milk, the petition argues, does not improve bone health or reduce the risk of osteoporosis and can actually create other health risks, especially later in life. 1 in 8 Americans is lactose intolerant. More than 1 million U.S. children struggle with milk allergies, the second most common food allergy. The federal government spends more money on dairy than any other food item in the school lunch program, and this is something that really needs to be addressed as we go forward. Let me know if I can help you. I'm Ellen Jaffe Jones. I can be found at www.vegcoach.com. I am a personal trainer, and I don't do this for money. It's all about trying to improve the health of our generation and the ones ahead of us and behind us.